The vast darkness of space suddenly erupted with an unnatural light as the alien vessel pierced Earth's orbital defense perimeter. Captain J. Huang watched the holographic display, his hands clenched behind his back, muscles tight with tension. Kiarisa, alien communication system crackled to life. A metallic voice devoid of emotion filled the command center. Humans of Earth, your civilization has been deemed inefficient. Surrender your planetary resources and submit to our governance. Lieutenant Hana Choi, standing beside Huang, muttered under her breath. They have no idea what they're talking about. Satellite tracking systems showed multiple alien ships positioning themselves around Earth's orbital zones. These weren't peaceful explorers. Their weapon signatures and ship configurations screamed of one intention: complete planetary subjugation. Dr. Yoon Kim, the lead technological strategist, rapidly typed on multiple holographic interfaces. Her fingers danced across quantum communication networks, analyzing the alien ship's technological signatures. Something was different about these invaders. They weren't like any previous extraterrestrial encounters humanity had documented. Their technology is advanced, she reported, but not insurmountable. The alien commander, a creature named Vrel, transmitted another message. Holographic representations showed massive weapon systems preparing to target Earth's major population centers. Mars colonies, lunar research stations, and orbital platforms were already marked as primary strike zones. Huang knew they had minutes, not hours. Activate global defense protocols, he commanded. His voice was calm, calculated. Years of military training had prepared him for this moment. Automated defense systems across Earth began charging. Quantum shield generators hummed with potential energy. Satellite networks repositioned themselves, creating a complex defensive web around the planet. Hana Choi's tactical team was already preparing counter-invasion strategies. They had been training for potential alien encounters for decades, but this felt different. This wasn't a theoretical scenario anymore. This was real. The first alien laser strike hit a research station near Jupiter. Hundreds of scientific personnel were instantly vaporized. The attack was precise, devastating, and sent a clear message. Negotiation was not an option. Earth's military command structure, which had been relatively fragmented just hours ago, now moved with surprising unity. Political differences dissolved. Continental rivalries disappeared. Humanity faced a threat that didn't care about human-made borders. Dr. Kim's analysis revealed something interesting. The alien technology, while advanced, had predictable computational patterns. She began developing adaptive countermeasures, understanding that their invasion strategy relied on strict algorithmic protocols. They think like machines, she told Huang, which means they can be outsmarted. Vrel's transmission came again. Resistance is mathematically improbable. Your civilization will be assimilated. Huang's response was simple and direct. We are not a mathematical problem to be solved. Orbital defense platforms began charging. Quantum entanglement communication, network synchronized global defense strategies. Every human technical resource was being mobilized. The alien fleet started their primary assault. Massive energy weapons prepared to strike Earth's major cities. Millions of lives hung in a delicate balance. But something was different about humanity. Where other civilizations might have collapsed, humans prepared to fight. Not just with technology, but with an unpredictable spirit that no computational algorithm could truly understand. Lieutenant Choi looked at Huang. No words were needed. They both understood what was coming. The first wave of alien ships approached Earth's atmosphere. Their metallic hulls gleamed with technological superiority. They expected total capitulation. They were about to learn a very important lesson about human determination. As the first energy weapon discharged, Captain J. Huang allowed himself a slight smile. The battle for Earth's survival had just begun, and humanity was ready. The global communication networks lit up with urgent messages. Every research center, university, and industrial complex transformed overnight into a war preparation mechanism. The alien attack had done something unprecedented. It united humanity like never before. Dr. Yoon Kim's research team worked in a secured underground facility. Computers hummed with unprecedented computational power. They were developing something. Revolutionary quantum adaptive shield technologies that could potentially neutralize advanced alien weapon systems. "We need to think differently," Dr. Kim told her team. Her eyes reflected a mixture of scientific determination and pure human defiance. The traditional military approach wouldn't work against these technological invaders. Lieutenant Hana Choi's special recruitment program began immediately. She wasn't looking for typical soldiers. She wanted individuals with unconventional thinking, programmers, mathematicians, engineers, and strategic thinkers who could approach warfare from completely unexpected angles. Recruitment centers opened worldwide. Young men and women who previously might have been competing in different fields now stood united. The alien invasion had become humanity's great equalizer. Military academies accelerated training programs. Traditional combat techniques were merged with advanced technological strategies. Soldiers learned to fight not just with weapons, but with adaptive intelligence systems. In Tokyo, a group of young engineers developed modular combat drones that could reconfigure themselves mid-battle. In Sao Paulo, quantum computing experts created communication networks that could predict and counter alien computational patterns. In Lagos, material scientists developed new armor technologies that could absorb and redirect energy weapons. Global resources were consolidated like never before. National budgets were instantly redirected. Trillions of dollars that were once spent on internal conflicts now focused on a single objective: planetary defense. Space agencies from different countries merged their research. The International Space Station became a primary strategic planning center. Astronauts and researchers who once competed now worked as a single unified team. Captain Jay Huang oversaw the global mobilization efforts. He understood that technology alone wouldn't win this war. They needed something more: human creativity, adaptability, and an unpredictable spirit that no alien algorithm could calculate. Artificial intelligence systems were integrated into every aspect of defense preparation. But these weren't just standard AI. They were designed to learn, adapt, and think beyond traditional computational limitations. Universities canceled regular classes. Students became part of massive research initiatives. Young programmers developed complex simulation models. Mathematics students created predictive algorithms. Engineering students designed prototype defense technologies. The global economy transformed. Manufacturing shifted entirely to defense and technological innovation. Companies that once competed now shared resources and knowledge. The concept of corporate secrets disappeared overnight. Dr. Kim's team made a breakthrough. They discovered a potential weakness in the alien weapon systems, a computational blind spot that could be exploited. It wasn't about having superior technology, but understanding the opponent's technological limitations. Lieutenant Choi's recruitment program brought together an incredible mix of talents: former gamers who understood complex strategic thinking, mathematicians who could predict complex probabilistic scenarios, programmers who could develop adaptive combat algorithms. Satellite networks were upgraded. Communication systems were reinforced. Every technological resource humanity had developed was now focused on a single objective: survival. The military training changed dramatically. Soldiers weren't just taught to follow orders. They were trained to think independently, to make quick decisions, and to adapt rapidly to changing combat scenarios. Space launch facilities worked around the clock. New defense platforms were constructed. Existing satellites were retrofitted with advanced defensive capabilities. The entire planet was transforming into a massive, interconnected defense system. Psychological preparation was equally important. Global media networks broadcast messages of unity and determination. The fear was transformed into collective resolve. Captain Huang knew they had limited time. The alien fleet would return. And when they did, humanity would be ready. Not just with technology, but with something far more powerful: an unbreakable spirit of survival and a determination that no computational algorithm could ever predict. The Mobilization had begun, and humanity was preparing for a war unlike any in its history. The quantum fold drive hummed with intense energy as the human fleet emerged from subspace. Admiral Kyung Park stood on the bridge, his eyes locked on the holographic tactical display. The alien fleet's primary staging area stretched before them, a massive network of interconnected battle platforms. Target acquisition confirmed, the tactical AI announced. Its voice was calm, almost emotionless. Captain Jay Huang watched the preliminary scans. The alien defensive grid looked impenetrable, but humanity had learned something critical. No system was truly perfect. Dr. Yoon Kim's adaptive shield technology was about to be tested in real combat. The ships weren't traditional designs. They were modular, shape-shifting vessels that could reconfigure their entire structure mid-battle. Each ship was more like a living organism than a traditional spacecraft. Lieutenant Hana Choi's special tactical units were positioned at strategic points. They weren't just soldiers. They were human computational nodes, each one capable of making split-second decisions that would confuse any predictive alien algorithm. The first wave of attack began with something the aliens never expected: total chaos. Quantum encrypted communication signals began flooding the alien communication networks. These weren't just normal signals. They were complex mathematical sequences designed to overwhelm and confuse the alien computational systems. Drone swarms launched from human ships. Thousands of small, intelligent machines that could think and adapt independently. Each drone was a potential weapon, a potential distraction, a potential strategic point. The alien fleet's initial response was mechanical and predictable. Their weapon systems locked onto primary targets, but the human fleet was anything but predictable. Ships split, merged, transformed. What looked like a single vessel could suddenly become 5 smaller attack units. Weapon systems that seemed defensive could instantly become offensive platforms. "They're using our own computational language against us," Dr. Kim observed, watching the battle unfold. The human strategy wasn't about overwhelming force, it was about intelligent disruption. Create confusion. Break predictable patterns. Attack where the enemy least expects. Alien ships began to fall. Not through massive explosions, but through systematic computational breakdown. Their interconnected systems were being infected with adaptive human algorithms. Admiral Park's voice remained steady. Maintain quantum communication integrity. Keep the adaptive network strong. Lieutenant Choi's tactical units moved with incredible precision. They weren't just following orders. They were interpreting the battle in real time, making decisions faster than any centralized command could process. The battle wasn't just happening in physical space. It was a complex dance of computational strategies, of mathematical predictions, of technological improvisation. Alien commanders watched in shock as their perfectly calculated invasion strategy began to collapse. Humanity wasn't fighting like a traditional military force. They were fighting like a living, breathing, adaptive organism. Quantum shield generators absorbed alien weapon energy. Adaptive nanite systems repaired ship damage almost instantly. Every hit was an opportunity to learn, to adapt, to improve. "We're not just defending," Captain Huang said quietly. "We're learning." The human fleet wasn't trying to destroy the alien staging area. They were systematically dismantling its strategic capabilities. Communication networks, computational systems, energy generation platforms. By the battle's end, the alien fleet wasn't defeated. It was fundamentally broken. A final transmission went out. Not a message of victory, but a clear, simple statement of human resolve. You wanted war. We're prepared for battle. The quantum fold drives activated. The human fleet began to disappear, leaving behind a completely disrupted alien defensive network. The counterattack was complete, and humanity had just changed the rules of interstellar warfare forever. The war spread across multiple star systems like a rapidly expanding web of conflict. Humanity had transformed from a planetary civilization to an interstellar fighting force almost overnight. Captain J. Huang's fleet moved through space like a living network. Each ship was more than a weapon. It was a learning system. Artificial intelligence and human intuition worked together in perfect synchronization. Dr. Yoon Kim's latest technological innovations changed everything. Adaptive nanite weapons could now reconstruct themselves mid-battle. Ships could heal damage instantaneously. Weapon systems learned from each encounter, becoming more efficient with every single shot. The alien civilizations discovered a terrifying truth. Humans didn't just fight, they evolved. Lieutenant Hana Choi's tactical units operated with an unpredictability that defied all computational predictions. Where traditional military forces would follow strict protocols, her teams created chaos. They attacked from impossible angles. They used asteroids as cover. They transformed entire planetary environments into battlegrounds. Alien communication networks began to collapse. Their perfect computational systems couldn't handle the human approach to warfare. Mathematical models failed. Strategic predictions became useless. On the frozen moons of distant star systems, human ground troops fought with unprecedented creativity. They didn't just use traditional weapons, they used environment, technology, and pure human adaptability as their primary tools. Mining colonies became fortresses. Research stations transformed into combat platforms. Every human settlement became a potential defensive point. The war wasn't just about defeating the alien civilization. It was about proving something fundamental about human potential. Quantum communication networks allowed instantaneous strategy sharing. A tactical breakthrough in one star system could be implemented across thousands of light years within moments. Human knowledge became a weapon more powerful than any physical technology. Admiral Kyung Park's Strategic Command Center worked like a living brain. Information flowed constantly. Strategies evolved in real time. The traditional concept of a military hierarchy disappeared completely. Alien commanders watched in growing terror. Their perfectly calculated invasion strategy was falling apart. Humanity wasn't just resisting. They were rewriting the fundamental rules of interstellar conflict. Technological innovations came faster than anyone could predict. A weapon system developed today would be completely obsolete tomorrow. The human capacity for rapid innovation became the most dangerous weapon in the universe. Space became a complex battlefield of computational warfare. Energy weapons danced between ships. Quantum shield generators absorbed incredible levels of destruction. Adaptive drone swarms moved, like living clouds of technological destruction. The aliens had believed technology was everything. Humanity proved that spirit, creativity, and adaptability were far more powerful. Research facilities across human-controlled space worked around the clock. Universities became weapons development centers. Every student, every researcher became part of the war effort. We're not just fighting, Dr. Kim would tell her research teams. We're proving what humanity can do. Entire planetary ecosystems became battlegrounds. Combat moved beyond traditional space warfare. Humans used environmental manipulation, computational warfare, and pure strategic creativity. The alien civilization began to understand a fundamental truth. They had awakened something far more dangerous than a simple military force. They had challenged a species with an unlimited capacity for adaptation. Each battle made humanity stronger. Each conflict revealed new potential. The war wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about proving humanity's place in the universe. Alien communication networks began sending desperate messages. Their perfect invasion strategy was collapsing. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were fundamentally changing the nature of warfare itself. Captain Huang looked at the galactic map. What had started as a desperate planetary defense had become a fundamental transformation of human potential. The total war had begun, and humanity was just getting started. The alien homeworld hung in space like a massive, wounded creature. Captain J. Huang's fleet approached with calculated precision. Years of war had transformed humanity into something beyond its previous limitations. Dr. Yoon Kim's final weapon system was unlike anything the universe had ever seen. A consciousness-integrated quantum disruption technology that could fundamentally rewrite computational systems. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a complete technological reset. Lieutenant Hana Choi's tactical units prepared for the ultimate confrontation. Every soldier understood this was more than a battle. This was humanity's defining moment. The alien defensive grid looked impenetrable. Thousands of weapon platforms surrounded their primary world. Generations of technological development had created what seemed like an unbreakable defensive network. But humanity had learned something critical during the war. No system was truly perfect. Admiral Kyung Park's strategy was brutally simple. They wouldn't just attack. They would completely dismantle the alien civilization's technological infrastructure. Quantum communication networks activated. Adaptive AI systems began their complex dance of computational warfare. Each human ship moved with an intelligence that blurred the line between machine and living organism. The first wave of attack came from unexpected directions. Drone swarms approached from quantum-folded space positions. Each drone carried a piece of the complex disruption algorithm. They weren't just weapons, they were living computational viruses. Alien defense systems began to collapse, not through massive explosions, but through systematic computational breakdown. Their perfect technological network started to unravel from within. Captain Huang's transmission cut through alien communication channels. His message was simple and direct. You chose war. Now you will understand the true meaning of human determination. Dr. Kim's quantum disruption system began its final sequence. It wasn't just attacking physical systems. It was rewriting the fundamental computational language of the alien civilization. Entire planetary defense networks began to fail. Communication systems collapsed. Weapon platforms became nothing more than dead metal floating in space. The human fleet moved with a living, breathing intelligence. Ships transformed, merged, separated. Each movement was a complex mathematical dance that no predictive algorithm could calculate. Lieutenant Choi's tactical units operated like a single, massive neural network. Where traditional military forces would see individual soldiers, they moved as a unified, intelligent organism. The alien leadership watched in growing terror. Their perfect civilization, built on computational superiority, was being systematically dismantled by a species they had once considered primitive. Massive energy weapons that could destroy entire planetary systems became useless. The human approach wasn't about destruction. It was about complete systemic transformation. Dr. Kim's final algorithm began its ultimate sequence. It wasn't just disrupting the alien technological systems. It was fundamentally rewriting their entire technological understanding. Planetary defense platforms went dark. Communication networks collapsed. The alien civilization's technological infrastructure became nothing more than dead circuits. Captain Huang's final transmission was heard across multiple star systems. We offered peace. You chose war. Now, witness humanity's true potential. The quantum disruption system reached its peak. It wasn't an explosion. It was a complete computational reset. Entire alien systems began to transform. Their perfect technological civilization became nothing more than a memory. Admiral Park watched the final moments of the conflict. This wasn't just a victory. This was a fundamental transformation of galactic civilization. Lieutenant Choi understood something profound. Humanity had done more than win a war. They had proven that adaptability, creativity, and spirit were more powerful than any technological superiority. As the final alien defense systems collapsed, a new era began. Humanity had not just survived. They had rewritten the fundamental rules of interstellar existence.